Rosie O'Reilly. Now, Rosie O'Reilly battles her coffee addiction from Madden, and she works in TV and also writes. Rosie firmly believes apple tarts are one of her 5 a day, and I also believe that, Rosie. Today, Rosie is reading Crack o' Dawn. Rosie.
Crack o' dawn. The wooden bar was shiny, and the glasses that hung above his head shone, catching his eye. It was called the Quiet Man, a name it rarely lived up to. He peeled his eyes from the glassware. "Paddy," calls Mick. A tall, lean man walks up to stand by the side of the bar. "Mick, what can I get you?" Paddy asks. "A pint and a chaser," says Mick. "Grand," says Paddy, and walks off down to the spirits. "Mick," says Gordon from beside him. 3 men are perched in high bar stools, all 3 in their 60s. "What?" asks Mick. "We should go back some day. See the ferry setting off," Gordon says, knocking back a whiskey between breaths. "We should take a run up to the old place again too." "We should," says Mick, counting out his fiver and small change. "We should all right. See the place again with fresh eyes," says Mick. "Nothing fresh about your eyes, Mick," says Cahill, as he stares down into his glass. The 2 turn to look at him, but he pays no heed and lifts the pint of Guinness to his mouth. "Oh, now, Cahill, would you quit?" The old man kept the place looking fierce well in his day, and I just wonder where it's at now, Mick says. "We'll go in the morning. We'll get the bus out. We'll watch the ferries like we used to," says Gordon. "We'll go at the crack of dawn, and we'll come back, and we'll see the Oilstone house. I wonder if the bath is still out the back," Gordon wonders aloud. "Remember the broken window and the snow wafting in on us while we were sleeping? It would have foundered you," says Mick. "Aye, and we'd come home some nights and the bed was soaking. We'd be racked and out like a light," says Gordon. "Drunk and out like a light, more like," interrupts Cahill. "Remember Ma used to say the peelers came down the road looking for Da," says Mick. By now his pint and chaser had arrived. "Last one," says he. "Aye, last one for me too," says Gordon, as he raises the pint to take a gulp with Mick. "Aye," says Cahill. Paddy watches them from behind the mahogany bar. "And remember they'd pull him out of the bed and boot him to the floor? He'd be lucky to get away with the black eye," says Mick. "Aye, that's right," says Gordon. A mirror stretched along the back wall of the bar, each man staring back at themselves, shocked by how much time had truly taken from them. Mick was the eldest, but somehow Cahill looked it. Gordon was shorter than the other 2, but on the stool, he looked down on them both. "We used to run the roads before we were old and crippled, gallivanting all over the show," says Mick. "I remember Ma sitting on the back porch one night. I remember her howling her own Ma's shawl. I remember she kept saying, 'I'm going to go, Mick. I'm going to leave the night,' she'd say," says Mick. "It's a circle of things, Mick," says Cahill. "I remember I sat with her for hours, watched the sun go down. I remember it was a ball of red in the sky, and she reached over and she took my hand and she said, 'Mick, this is it. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go,' said she," says Mick. His brothers listened without lifting their eyes from their drinks. "She didn't move, you know. She just sat there," says Mick finally. "She never did," says Cahill. "Nah," says Gordon. "And when Da came home, she stood up and she looked at the back gate like it was her last chance." Mick stopped speaking to take a drink, and when I stood up beside her, she squeezed my hand quite tight and stared down at me. One more night. I'll go in the morning, she said. I'll never forget that look on her face, like it was my fault she didn't go. Mick spoke with urgency. She was never going to go, says Cahill. I know, and I don't think it was us stopping her either, says Gordon. Nah, says Mick. She was a home bird, was Armagh. She talked plenty about it, though, says Mick. Paddy, calls Mick. Paddy walks over. A pint and a chaser, says Mick. And the same for me too, says Gordon. Sure, suppose I'll take another two, Paddy, says Cahill. Grand, says Paddy, and he turns and walks off to the spirits. We'll go in the morning to watch the fairies, then to see the old place, says Mick. Aye, crack of dawn, says Gordon. Yeah, in the morning, just like Ma, says Cahill.